We all have that one dream we promise will start when things finally settle down. But with the pace of change these days, I'm not sure settling down is coming anytime soon. Are you postponing your dream? Because I almost postponed mine. The dream of coming to this island, reconnecting with my roots, and learning to grow my own food. I kept waiting to know more, to have more money in the bank, for the timing to make more sense. But that's how dreams die. Not in one big decision, but through 1,000 tiny hesitations that feel safer than just starting. Last episode of Lino shared the 9 steps he took to begin his organic dream farm. This week, I'm turning the camera back on me. We'll walk through the backyard and see what's changed, and we'll talk about the real magic of just beginning where you are, the questions, the lessons, and the truth that help you grow right where you're planted. So grab something nourishing for your soul, get cozy, and come join me on the island.
Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Lisa, and a big hello to so many new subscribers. I was honestly totally blown away by the response from the episode I just posted just a few days ago with Evelino. It resonated with so many people, and that made me want to run up here, even on a windy day in Terceira, and record a different video than I had planned for this week, because it really caused me to think about how many people are like me. You're not alone, are rethinking about change, wanting to grow their own food, feeling just something in the air about now's the time to take action on some of those dreams we've been thinking of for a while.
To help you move closer to your dream, I'd love to give you 3 things on this episode. 1, give you the questions that I asked myself that made a big difference on my journey. 2, give you a heads up on some challenges you might encounter and how I handled them. And 3, I'd love to give you a tour of my dream. We'll check out the agroforest, see how we're protecting the citrus trees this winter, and take a look at a few little experiments I'm doing with banana trees and wind. Stay tuned.
So today I'm going to shake it up, even though it's windy, and I'm going to look like I'm eating this microphone, but I want to make sure that you can hear me okay. Let's have a conversation about the type of thinking that helps us get big change in our lives and stop us from thinking that one day it'll be perfect and we can get there. So when I talked in the last episode about there being something in the air,
it feels like there's a shift happening. Can you feel it? All around the world, people are talking more about growing their own food, living a healthier, more simple life reconnected with nature.
Publishing that video and seeing the responses and comments from people all over the world told me, yep, there is this movement going on. And the underbelly of this movement is this knowingness that change is in the air. It's not just in the external world, it's within us. And so when there's change within us, there's some stuff that can get in the way with our thinking that can stop us from moving forward. So here's the 2 questions that I use. In my previous life, and I still do some of this now, but I used to do it a lot before, I would coach executives and entrepreneurs and people on Wall Street. So basically I asked questions for a living. So I'm going to promise to give you great questions on this channel. 2 questions that always work for me, and I want you to jot these down in case you want to use them to think through any of the changes that you want to do, but maybe you're a little bit stuck with doing. The first one is, what would I regret more? And this is kind of some end-of-life thinking. It gets me to go all the way back to when I'm like 100 plus, because we're going to talk longevity on this channel and centurions and blue zones, so we're going to live a long time. If I go to the end of my life, what would I regret more doing in this moment? And that does a few things. 1, it gets me thinking about, like, if I didn't move to Portugal, if I didn't start this farm, what would I be regretting? And it gets me to realize that there's not just a risk in taking action, there's a risk in not taking action. And I think that's really important. I think for any time of our lives, but there's something going on globally right now, which is this importance of understanding that things aren't staying the same, so we have an opportunity to make changes for ourselves. So if it was me and I were giving anyone advice about making changes, what I did is I took a piece of paper and I split it down the middle, staying the same, going for my dream. And I wrote down the different actions. What would I regret more staying the same? What would I regret more making change? And that helped me kind of get it out of my head and put it on paper. And then the second thing I did was, why is this dream so important to me? Who am I impacting by this dream? What am I learning? Who do I become? And I just would write out on a piece of paper, put it down, pick it up in a couple of days, but get it all out of my head. Why did I want to move to Portugal? Why did I want to start an agroforest? Why did I want to start this garden? I didn't know any of these things. There was lots of risk on the table. but it helped me understand why this dream was so important, and it helped me understand that I was making a choice either way. And the choice of staying the same was not as attractive as taking some risks. So while those two questions, get the brain activated, help us take our fears kind of out of our head and put them on paper, because sometimes those fears sound a lot more in our head than they actually are. I want to tell you also about some pitfalls, some things you can expect when you make change. Avlino was talking about all the noise of people questioning him and things going wrong.
Everybody around me was putting some pressure, like what happens? What's going on with you? Are you okay?
You got to protect your dream. As soon as you start talking about this dream, there'll be people who come in and say it's not possible, or their opinions are different. And what I've really learned is that's okay, because these dreams belong to us, our special dreams. And it doesn't have to make sense to everyone. But what I'd really advise is when you're talking about your dream, think through who you're talking it to, why you're talking it to them, and when they give you the gifts of their doubts or their fears, use them to understand, how can I mitigate it? So when I was in the backyard and I was talking about all the plans I wanted for back there was a lot of people who said, woo, there's a lot of wind back here. How are you going to do it? And thankfully, because of their doubts, because of their fears, I was able to come up with some ideas with the help of my husband and Avlino to mitigate them. So just because something's big and scary doesn't mean we can't do it. And just because people believe it's not possible doesn't mean it is. It just means we get to take some different perspectives. The key to anything is taking little actions, not the big ones. Our dreams don't die because we made a big decision one day. It's mostly those little dreams to postpone something or start tomorrow. So whether it's gardening, changing your garden to a big farm, starting an agroforest, starting a citrus farm, working on your second plot, which is back there, or changing a job or moving to a brand new country. It's the little things you can do on the daily every couple of days that make the big difference. So I want to share something really silly, but it worked brilliantly for me. I'm sure it annoyed the heck out of my husband, but every day I would do this thing where I would wake up and I would visualize the dream of being in Portugal and getting my hands in the dirt and starting to figure out farming. And I would think of 3 scary things I would do. Now, were they scary to most people? Probably not, but they were scary little things to me. Pick up a new book on farming, call my Portuguese accountant and talk about taxes, call the movers and understand the cost of moving everything over to Portugal. Like whatever these little tiny actions, which don't sound so scary now, but in the moment, I promise you, they were overwhelming. And then I would call my husband or text him and I'd say, babe, these are the 3 scary things I did today. And I didn't die. That sounds ridiculous. So if you have someone that you can be playful with, if you want to tell me below in the comments something you're doing towards your dream, the idea is just to take little action every day, just like the garden beds that need my weeding, so don't look too much on them, but they need action every single day. It's not the big things we got to do, but we got to feed our dreams. Avlino in the last episode talked about his passion, talked about his research, talked about learning more all the time. And I'm going to say, I agree with all of that. And fuel your passion, whether it's watching YouTube videos like this, whether it's reading books, whether it's visualizing, whatever it is, the idea to feed your dream every day, because if we're not feeding our dream, then it's slowly dying. And it's there for a reason. And you're watching this channel because you want to be reminded of that. So let's take a little tour of the garden. Let me show you some updates in the agroforest and show you how we're protecting our trees, our dreams from the wind.
This is the agroforest. We've got chestnuts and persimmons, mangoes, avocados, a bunch of different trees, and yakun is the root vegetable that's growing. We planted a lot of this late, didn't expect much of it to grow, but it's doing pretty good. So we'll do another episode as we're going to plant a whole bunch more trees and some more layers to get that real agroforest vibe going. And over here, we've got our citrus fruits. So there's lemons, oranges, lemon caviar, And the biggest problem on the island is wind, so we're going to be planting trees around here, but until then, these wind protectors are going to help us out this season. And we've got a row of bananas. Now, this is more of an experiment. We're going to put about 20 more of these trees down, but I wanted to do an experiment to see how much the wind impacted growth, because I wanted to see it from my eyes. And yeah, I can tell. Definitely has an impact. And busy working on the garden beds right now because it's a new season, so we'll show you more of those once I've got all the new seasonal vegetables in. And the other big item that we're working on is getting those hedges in. They take a couple of years, so we're trying to fill the holes where they're missing and starting to do the back lot. That's a little update on the growing in the backyard.
So to wrap up this video, before the wind comes any stronger, I wanted to let you know that I did this video because whether you're inspired by Evelino's story, or you're interested about farming that I'm doing, or my move to Portugal, I wanted to let you know that none of these stories happened in perfect conditions. None of them. So much of my garden shouldn't have grown because I planted it at the wrong time. I made mistakes along the way, but some of it really did work out well. And I learned from the stuff that didn't. So what I'm trying to encourage you to do is take a look at those questions I asked you, write them down, think about them, because it's so much harder to not get started when you know why something's important. When you understand there's a risk, whether you plant something now or you wait till next year, whether you stay in the same job or you move, whether you stay in the same country or you change. The idea is you just want to understand what risks are you willing to take and what fuels your passion for life even more. So stay tuned on this channel. I'm going to bring you more stories of reinvention, more farming information. I'm going to try and grab Evelino to do a few more episodes with me. But if you have something specific that you'd like to know about, see parts of the island, have me talk about, whether it's the agriculture, it's about farming, let me know. I'm doing this to build a community because I know I'm not the only person alone that feels that change in the air. So let's do this together. It's way more fun. Drop some comments below what you like, what you want to see more of, and I'll keep sending some beautiful visuals from this beautiful island in the middle of the Atlantic. I need you to know, as the backdrop, I've got cows next to us that are judging me, watching. There's chickens that have flown in, and those are not my chickens. You're welcome. Go enjoy. You want to get in a YouTube episode? Okay, we'll just keep them in. Life is interesting.